Relapses hit us so hard because we work so hard forming a new identity over months, over years, over decades. So when we finally push that bad habit out of our life and in the process create a new identity, we often hold on to that identity almost as savior complex. Like, oh, you delivered me from evil, so therefore I am your humble servant forever. At what cost do we oftentimes stay loyal to a streak, a certain practice, to the point where we're risking our mental health, to the point where we're risking our physical health, to the point where we're risking relationships? We need to maintain a healthy distance from our practices, even our practices that have saved our life. Because what will happen is if you look at that practice, if you look at that belief system as your identity, whenever that belief system is challenged or isn't perfectly followed, you set yourself up to a whole spectrum of mental and emotional and spiritual ramifications.
Was eating to live, yeah, I'm living to eat. Catch me enjoying vegan recipes. Fame for chlorophyll.
Greetings, it's your boy Gartatia reporting live from the Treehouse Show. I know y'all miss me. I've been AWOL, you feel me? I've been traveling the world. We're gonna jump right into it though, cause I got so many stories. That's gonna be content. That's gonna be content for another day, another time. Right now, as you read from the title, yes, your boy relapsed. Your boy, you know what I'm saying, slipped up, you know what I'm saying? And it's cool because I ain't even turned. You know what? I ain't even pressed. You feel me? And the reason I'm not pressed is I'm not pressed because we're gonna talk about identity, right? So basically, first of all, the relapse it wasn't a sexual relapse. It wasn't, oh, these pixels on the screen. Oh, I'm having a bad day. Let me release. No, it wasn't that, okay? It was a diet relapse. It was basically, I slipped up and had some cheese. Twice. I slipped up twice in 1 week. And the story is not about the relapse. The story is how I responded after the relapse. I feel like a lot of us, relapses hit us so hard because we work so hard forming a new identity or getting rid of an identity that performed a bunch of bad habits over months, over years, over decades. So when we finally push that bad habit out of our life and in the process create a new identity, we often hold on to that identity almost as savior complex. Like, oh, you delivered me from evil, so therefore I am your humble servant forever. And we have this weird loyalty to this identity to the point where when we are disloyal, quote unquote, relapse, it hurts us. The relapse itself hurts us way more that is mentally healthy than if we kind of had an attachment, a detachment from that identity, if that makes sense, right? So let me break that down. I'm letting you know I relapsed twice and I'm not feeling salty. I'm letting you know I relapsed twice and I'm not feeling pressed, right? And the reason why I'm not pressed, I've been vegan since April 2020, right? 2.5 years, if my math is correct, I've been vegan. I do identify as a vegan. However, I look around at my environment. I look around at the vegan community. A lot of times they have formed an identity, even the word vegan community. It's very territorial. It's very tribal, right? And that comes from a lot of times these vegans, they became vegan for the animals. A lot of times these vegans, they became vegan because people in their family die. A lot of times these vegans, they became vegan because they had a body transformation and dropped like 300 pounds. And now they're living their best life and are Instagram models. You don't know why people are vegan. And a lot of times these people are fanatical vegans because this veganism has changed their life to the point where they feel a loyalty to it. And I'm kind of explaining why a lot of people would relapse and be crying or breaking down right now and be responding very differently. See, I'm out here smiling, breathing this good ass oxygen, chilling, because very early on, I was fortunate that I had mentors. Very early on in my spiritual journey, I had a mother who's vegan and I had a lot of guidance going into it. And they always told me that you have to ask yourself, why are you being vegan? And my why of being vegan was always to feel better, right? My why was never to, it saved my life. My why was never to, oh, I'm gonna be an animal rights activist. My why was never, I'm vegan just to be a part of a community that makes me feel welcome for once in my life. From the very conception of my vegan career, I was always conscious of the kind of those pitfalls, right? And I would say I'm fortunate because I had mentors, people who were vegan for much longer than me, who had a healthy approach to veganism. They came in my corner and I would consult them for advice, and they gave me the best advice. And that's why I've been able to build a healthy relationship between me and veganism, right? An almost detached relationship where I use veganism as a tool, right? But I don't even like to identify, and I'm starting to play with not even saying I'm vegan and just maybe saying I'm plant-based, because veganism tends to have a very tribal vibe to it, a very ownership vibe. And y'all know me, I want to break free, you feel me? On my queen shit. I can't be held down. I'm Aries, I'm bullheaded. I'm a ram, right? You try to hold me down, you in for a derby. You in for a, you know what I'm saying? Get off me. Let me free. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like that idea of belonging by force, to a certain set of rules that I have to follow. That's not me. That's not Gartatia. So that's why I'm not tripping. I'm not excusing the relapse. I'm not saying that the relapse is going to happen again and again and again. I'm not making the relapse become a habit, right? But I'm also not holding on to the relapse, right? But the first relapse, right, I wanted to beat myself up over it. So basically I was super hungry editing in Atlanta, right? I hadn't eaten in pretty much all day, and I ordered a bean burrito from Uber Eats. It comes, and literally on Uber Eats, I told them to not add extra cheese or to not add any cheese. And guess what? I'm hungry AF. I haven't eaten at all in a day and a half. And the food that comes, the cheese is already melted in the beans. So I had a choice. Am I going to not eat and stay loyal to veganism, or am I going to eat and fill my body with energy so that I'm not out here losing gains, which I also worked hard on, right? So I'm not out here hangry, right? And I'm at my brother's house and being a terrible guest. So I'm not out here losing vital nutrients and making my body go into survival mode, right? So that I'm not able to think straight, because that's not where my nutrition is going. It's not going to my brain. It's just going to keep me alive. Okay, obviously I'm exaggerating. A day is not that bad. But you get what I'm trying to say. At what cost do we oftentimes stay loyal to a streak? Do we oftentimes stay loyal to a certain practice, right? To the point where we're risking our mental health, to the point where we're risking our physical health, to the point where we're risking relationships, to the point where we're risking our whole moral complex and ethics. We need to maintain a healthy distance from our practices, even our practices that have saved our life. You need to maintain a healthy detachment, because what will happen is, if you look at that practice, if you look at that belief system as your identity, whenever that belief system is challenged, or whenever that belief system isn't perfectly followed, you set yourself up for, in addition to the physical side effects of relapsing, you set yourself up to a whole spectrum of mental and emotional and spiritual ramifications that can be completely avoided if from the onset you just distance yourself from that belief system. Not distance yourself. People think distance yourself from a belief system means being a disbeliever, an apostate, a cynic. That's not what distancing yourself from your belief systems are. That's not what distancing yourself from a practice you do is, right? Distancing yourself just means that you are always maintaining a degree of flexibility, right? A degree of open-mindedness to your practice. What does that mean? You're receptive to advice. You're receptive to outside opinions. You are consciously, continuously doing research on that thing that you are so confident about to see if things have changed. Sometimes the rules change for meditation. Sometimes we figure out maybe we're not focusing on our breath. Maybe we need to focus on our environment. Say you are an Olympic sprinter and then that's what you've identified with all your life. Say if the science is always evolving, now the science says that you need to ice cold bath or get an ice cold bath every 2 weeks instead of once a week, right? The rules are always changing. And if you, A, refuse to be open to the rules changing, B, not deliberately going out of your way to see if the rules are changing, right? You're setting yourself for a complete disappointment and depression and a complete demoralization of the spirits when something goes wrong, which in life will inevitably make it so something goes wrong. Like the second time I relapsed, right? This is a similar situation. I'm at the airport. Actually, the second time I relapsed was more, I could have prevented that more because I was actually at the airport and I did order something on the menu that it didn't have cheese on the menu, but when she gave me my order, when I opened my sandwich, I saw cheese in it. And for a split second, part of me was like, go back there and ask her, could she, give me a new order or could she take the cheese out? And part of me was like, and I had plenty of time between my flight and that could have happened. But part of me was like, oh, I'm just so hungry. Or that'll make me look petty or oh, like whatever. Just a little more cheese wouldn't hurt. So I'm giving myself a little less slack on that second time because I wasn't that hungry. And I feel like I could have corrected that or had self-control. But then again, right? Then again, at what cost? Like the moment I decided that I was going to eat that sandwich, it was either I eat it or I don't. And then the thing is, once you decide to do something, we need to become comfortable with just letting go. It's in the past, right? Oftentimes we do something we regret or we relapse, and then the actual mental fatigue and mental stress of the relapse is harder than the actual benefits or the actual negative effects of the actual relapse. Why would you add to the pain of it if it can be avoided, right? Obviously you're human. Obviously you'll feel some kind of way when it's day 56 of NoFap and then, somebody rides by on a scooter wearing a thong and then you go back home to the hub and then you blow off one, right? And then now you're contemplating suicide. Like, no, it's only day 59. And a lot of people, they start back from day 0. And I said, how about we don't start from day 0? How about we start again from day 58? The clock doesn't reset because the skills that you learned, even in those first 58 days, they don't just go away just because one relapse. And we have the society of perfectionism, and we have the society of you have to look like you're doing something, and you have to follow these streaks, and you have to stay consistent. And this hustle culture, I would say the toxic side of this hustle culture is we feel this pressure from society to constantly appear to be at our best. And when we don't measure up to that impossibly to achieve standard, we often beat ourselves down harder than anyone could hurt us, harder than society could beat us down, harder than our parents could beat us down, harder than the actual lack of doing that practice beats us down, right? So what I urge everyone listening to this video to do is, like, look at me. I relapsed twice in one week. In 1 week. For something that I've been doing for over 800, 900 days, I relapsed twice in 1 week. Right? A lot of people would be depressed. A lot of people would be beating themselves up. A lot of people would be, doubting their whole belief system. Right? But I'm out here, I'm not gonna lie, for a day and a half I felt a little down. But I was cool. I was chill because I knew that this is not a habit. This is not something that's gonna repeat. That relapse doesn't define me. That one failure doesn't define me, right? You're more than that one time you relapse. You're more than that one time that you watched an extra hour on television. You're more than that one time that you stayed scrolling on social media the moment you woke up in the morning. You're more than that one time that you skipped the day meditating. You're more than that one time that you didn't go outside and ground yourself. You're more than that one time that you didn't drink 2 gallons of water a day, right? We, as a society, we need to stop letting our failures define us. We need to stop letting a relapse define who we are. Because who we are is something that is capable of learning from that failure and moving ourselves not to a place where we never experience failure, but to a place where even the failures that we experience in the future are more processed as lessons instead of a reason to fall into a state of mental decay, right? So the point is, learn from it, grow from it, and be great from it. So don't trip if you relapse. Just take a deep breath and give gratitude that you're still healthy. Give gratitude that you're still alive. Give gratitude to the universe that you're able to see, think, feel, hear. You have all your senses. Give gratitude that you still get another day on this amazing planet to become one step closer to who you're here destined to be. I hope this video helped. As always, stay hydrated, stay breathing in this good ass oxygen, and most importantly, stay basic. I love you.